What fact sounds fake at first but is actually real? There isn't a single bridge across the Amazon River. A bridge could be built. The main reason none exist though is cause the river is surrounded by rainforest on both sides for most of its length and there isn't a need for one. One 10-inch pizza is more pizza than two 7-inch pizzas. It's amazing the difference just a couple of inches can make. Oh yeah. Shush. The pizza overlords do not want you to know this. Profit margins are higher on the smaller pizzas. Orcas are a natural predator to moose. Explain please. Moose swim between islands or from land to island and orcas annihilate them from below. Ancient sailors believed that cats were magic and would often risk their own lives, even in an every man for himself situation, to save a cat from a sinking ship. All ships had at least one ship's cat as cats would eat the rats that have always plagued ships. The ship's cat would often be given a rank and sailors would generally take excessively good care of their cats. So that's how those damn animals got so cocky. Don't forget what the Egyptians did. Lyrebirds' imitations will seriously sound exactly like the thing they're trying to imitate. If they imitate a chainsaw, you will think it's a chainsaw. It sounds like a perfect recording. I like it when they imitate the laser gun sound effects. Pew pew pew. Netflix was founded before Google. Yeah, it originally didn't use the net. It did for selecting videos, but not streaming. That's correct. You maintained the queue on the website and they mailed you things as they became available. You paid a monthly subscription fee that was tiered based on how many movies you wanted out at a time. At the time it seemed daft. There was a culture of going to the store and renting the movie on the night you wanted to watch it, and returning it the next day so wouldn't owe extra fees. Who would want to pick a movie and wait 3 days? The model eventually won people over, though. Reasonable monthly fee, no feeling rushed because of late charges, always a couple things you want to see lying around waiting for you. It was actually a pretty great experience. They rightfully get a lot of credit for the streaming stuff but people don't realize they actually revolutionized home video twice. When compasses were first used on ships, sailors were afraid of them because they thought it had evil powers. Compasses were stored in boxes called a binnacle. That's like the first form of electromagnetic navigation. I'd be spooked too if a little piece of metal inexplicably pointed me to something. We're used to many generations of over-the-air networking, 802.11 grams, 4G, and people are still spooked by 5G. A compass should be hella scary back then. Jack the Ripper was still active when Nintendo was founded. The guy who sang Peanut Butter Jelly Time died in a police shootout. Also, his brother-in-law was there trying to talk him out of shooting himself. You know who that brother-in-law was? Snoop Dogg. I can't believe this is true. I just looked it up and it's 100% legit. A Russian luxury SUV manufacturer attempted and failed to use whale penis skin for their SUV interiors. Rubbed the seats and they got too hard to sit on. Aristotle Onassis has a yacht with whale foreskin upholstery. The day Michael Jackson's hair caught on fire was the exact middle of his life. A typical cumulus cloud actually weighs 1.1 million pounds, 498,951 kilograms. President Coolidge got sent a raccoon for Thanksgiving one year, but instead of eating it, he granted it a pardon because it was cute. It takes 2 years for a pineapple to grow. Have a pineapple plant in my yard. Can confirm. It's now year 4 and it's about to bear second fruit. And you only get 1 pineapple. Pineapples are similar to bananas in that they normally produce fruit once. Pick a banana bunch, then chop the tree down. Pick the pineapple, remove the plant, then remove the pineapple top and plant that. Have grown many bananas and pineapples. This makes me irrationally angry. I grew one for over a year one time and a fucking rabbit ate it. Chickens are one of many species of birds that don't have penetrative genitalia. The method of reproduction they use is commonly called a cloacal kiss, and you can think of it as chicken scissoring, because bumping holes is the grossest possible way to phrase chicken sex. Also, chickens are not a flightless species like lots of people think, and are generally totally capable of short flight. The entire state of Wyoming only has 2 escalators. Wyoming? Never heard of them. I live in Wyoming and I've never seen either of them. Fun fact: the tallest building in Wyoming is the freshman dorms at the University of Wyoming, and it's only 12 floors. I drove through Wyoming and didn't know I was in Wyoming. Pocahontas and Shakespeare lived during the same time. Also, Anne Frank and Martin Luther King Jr. were born in the same year. And if they were still alive, they would both be younger than the current Queen of the UK. The founders of Adidas, Adi Dassler, and Puma, Rudolf Dassler, are brothers. And their HQs are literally next door to each other in Germany. Adidas is short for Adi Dassler, the founder of the company. There used to be a species of parrot native to what is now Kentucky and Tennessee. Damn, KFC killed them all before moving on to chicken. Every Canadian is allowed to get a free Canadian flag from the government. However, if you ordered a flag today, you would get it in about 110 years. It used to be only a couple years until recently. Until the fact got out wide and far and everyone signed up for it. And it's the flag raised at the top of Parliament, replaced daily. Okay. That made no sense until you explained that there was only one per day available. The 10th President of the U.S., John Tyler, 1790 to 1862, has 2 living grandchildren. Odds are, there are hundreds of people with grandparents born in the 1700s, we just know about those 2 because their grandfather was president. Dinosaurs never ate grass because it didn't exist yet. Wait. So what covered the ground? It's so weird to think about grass not being everywhere. Did they eat those? Sharks evolved before grass did. So that's why sharks don't eat grass. During World War II, the Polish army had a brown bear in their ranks. The bear was really helpful to the force, particularly for carrying heavy artillery. After the war, he lived his retirement at the Edinburgh Zoo and has his own life-size statue in the Princes Street Gardens. The bear was on the payroll of the Polish army as well. A common ingredient in chemotherapy is horse sperm, of course listed under some long medical terminology. I used to deliver 100-pound tubes of it to companies that make the drugs. And Premarin is made from horse piss. Pregnant horse piss, to be specific. I used to work at a place that took in the foals of said mares. Do not recommend. Thrombin, a drug to stop bleeding, is made from hamster ovaries. Imagine collecting those. The Ethiopian calendar is 7 years behind the rest of the world. Edit. Yeah guys, it's still 2013 there. A friend of mine in high school was born there. He used to be our beer guy because his Ethiopian passport made him over 21. It was glorious. The year in Nepal is 2077. You can fit all the planets in our solar system touching end to end between Earth and the Moon. That ants don't take fall damage. Non-fatal terminal velocity. A lot of very small insects, bugs, animals have this. Humans do not, but there are some instances where humans survive. The Nazis were the first ever people in modern history to start an anti-smoking and tobacco movement. Another fact, I am from Scotland, and our national animal is the unicorn. Distance from USA to Russia is 4 kilometers. This fact is always amusing. OMG, the USA is closer to Russia than I am to my grandma's house? There are more people on Earth than rats. And there are more nipples on Earth than humans. The US and Russian military employ dolphins as part of their marines. A lot of the earliest war gods were actually goddesses. The yearly risk in the US of dying from a shark bite is around 1 in 250 million, and the yearly risk of dying from a vending machine accident is roughly 1 in 112 million. Therefore, vending machines are about twice as deadly as sharks. That's why I never swim in vending machine-infested waters. Iran arrested 14 squirrels on suspicion of espionage. Nigeria once arrested a goat for stealing stuff in human form. Some other African country arrested someone for murdering a human in hyena form. The previous owner of the company Segway died from driving a Segway off a cliff. Most people think this means the inventor. It's not. It's just a guy who bought the company. He died less than a year after he bought it, after he tried to get out of the way of a person walking their dog. People in Europe feared the tomato for over 200 years because they thought eating it would kill them. It was even nicknamed the poison apple. During the Cold War, the US had an idea to drop XL condoms labeled medium all over Russia to make them think they are more manly. If Titanic had had more lifeboats on board, more people would have died. There are lots of unique factors that go into this. But the simple version is there was no time. Titanic's crew acted incredibly quickly as soon as it was known the ship had no chance of surviving. Preparing these massive, heavy lifeboats for launch and lowering them takes a lot of time and effort. Despite their efforts, the last 2 lifeboats were floated off deck. They needed every available second to launch the boats they did have. Titanic had no time to launch more lifeboats. If there had been more boats on board, they would have been stacked, which would have added time to the already laborious and lengthy preparation and launch of the boats. They also would have been stored on deck, which would have added to an already crowded, chaotic scene the night it sank. Do you know any such fact that seems fake, but is actually true? Leave a comment. And subscribe to this channel if you want to see more same videos.